Welcome to the Holistic Soul Sisters Radio, a channel created to help you heal holistically and grow spiritually. I'm your host, Mandy Rose. I'm not afraid to talk about taboo subjects, so nothing is off limits here. Make sure you hit subscribe and get ready to learn more from me and other experts on all things health, spirituality, astrology, lifestyle, relationships, and so much more. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let's begin. Hello, my holistic soul sisters. It's me, Mandy Rose, and we are back with another episode of this energetic healing mini-series. This week's episode is going to be a solo episode by just me because I feel like this topic has been something that I have been indulging in, learning about, putting into practice in my life for the last 2 years. If you have talked to me in person or done a client coaching call or have been in our Facebook community for Soul Growth Sunday, I have talked about masculine and feminine energy a lot recently. This is something I realize that as a society we are dealing with and healing from, but more importantly, in our intimate relationships. And after our Heartbreak to Heal mini-series, I had so many of you reach out telling me that you were going through turmoil in your relationships, or you were looking to manifest a new relationship, or you were just starting to work on yourself so that you could be the best version of you in your current or future relationships. And this concept of masculine and feminine energy will help you do all of that. So before we dive into that, I just wanted to let you guys know that we only have one more episode after this week's in the Energetic Healing mini-series. So next week, I hope you look forward to having our Law of Attraction coach, Maite, on the episode. She is going to wrap it up for us because after we learned so many different types of energy healing, we talked about using the sun and sound and light to heal our physical body. We talked about our chakras and using crystals and Reiki to open up these blocks of chi, blocks of energy, and how all of our chakra points are related to different organ systems and emotions and hormones, and how we can heal different parts of our body if we can heal the energy part of our body. We also talked a little bit about some woo-woo things that have to deal with energy, like past life regression and mediums, and how connecting to our higher self, our spirit guides, God, can help us energetically heal parts of ourselves and therefore heal our physical body. I just find it so interesting that once we can kind of grasp the concept that we are just energetic beings, all of our cells vibrate at a certain frequency, we are made up of energy, that we have way more options to heal our physical body than just using food and supplements and pharmaceuticals. So it's really cool. I hope this entire mini-series inspired you, gave you some education, some knowledge, and that you've dove into starting to heal yourself from an energetic perspective. Also, I would love to hear your feedback. Let me know what episode really impacted you. You can do that by screenshotting an episode and then tagging it in your Instagram stories. Tag holistic.soul.sisters so I see it over on the Instagram. Also, I would love and so appreciate if you guys could leave a review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. Just hit that 5-star button, or you could write a little blurb just letting me know your feedback and what you're loving. It's really hard, I have to be honest. If you've ever done a podcast or you're thinking about doing a podcast, it's not so easy. Right now, I am sitting in a closet in a spare bedroom. I can hear the rain outside, and it's just me in these tiny little 4 walls talking to myself. So there is not always instant gratification when it comes to podcasting. So sometimes I record the episode, then I launch it into the world a week or 2 later, and then it's kind of like crickets. Like I have no idea who listened or what they liked or what they didn't like. So if you are listening to this, please give me some of that instant gratification back and just share with me, send me a message, reach out on any of the social media platforms that you connect with me on, and let me know, did you like this energetic healing mini-series? Or maybe if you have a suggestion on a mini-series you want me to cover next. I have a couple ideas, and I think I'm going to do a poll over on the Instagram. So please vote on that poll if you see it. But I want to dive in a little bit more taboo into the next mini-series. I like that Holistic Soul Sister Radio, the podcast, allows me to talk about some topics that Instagram would ban me for, YouTube would definitely ban me for. So this is my way to talk about things that probably shouldn't be talked about on those other platforms. So we don't call it Taboo Tuesday for nothing. So stay tuned for all of that. But in the meantime, let's dive right into this concept of masculine and feminine energy. Now, this concept of masculine and feminine energy came to me about 2 years ago. When you guys know, I was going through my divorce and I was trying to figure out my life, and I was doing some therapy, doing a lot of spiritual work, really working on myself and diving into who I wanted to be and what I wanted my life to look like, and definitely what kind of relationship I wanted to have moving forward. And so I fell into some podcasts about relationships, and they talked about this masculine and feminine energy. And ever since then, it has been a major theme, a major conversation point with not only my partner, people in my life like my friends and my family, but more specifically my clients, people that I'm trying to help heal, again, from physical issues where we're realizing that their emotions, their relationships, their viewpoints of life are blocking and getting in the way of their physical healing. So that's why I thought that this was an important concept to have in our energetic healing mini series. Now, I know when you hear masculine and feminine energy, there's probably a lot of themes or concepts that pop into your mind. So we are going to break this down to help you better understand it. I'm going to talk a little bit about masculine energy that is healthy and then wounded, and same thing with the feminine energy that's healthy and then wounded feminine energy. And lastly, I want to help you guys start balancing this. So let's first begin with what is masculine and feminine energy. Now, something to know is we have both of it. So it doesn't matter if you're a female or you're a male or how you identify in your actual physical body. Know that every single one of us as souls, as human beings on planet Earth, have both feminine and masculine energy. It's just about the balance and also about what you aligned with more as your natural tendency. So think of masculine and feminine energy as archetypes. They are themes, visualizations, representations of the energy that we embodied. It's a lot like the yin and the yang, right? So we have the yin and the yang symbol, and one side is white and one side is black, and one cannot exist without the other. We need both of them, just at different times, and it's on a spectrum. So sometimes we might be tapping more into our masculine energy when we need to get things done, and other times we might want to fall more into our feminine energy and go with the flow. So we're going to talk a lot more about what masculine and what feminine energy is in just a moment, but for now, I want you to just realize that it's not based on gender at all. We have both energies, we need both energies, but we just need to balance them out in a way that is really healthy. And also knowing that when we have unbalanced masculine and feminine energy, too much of one and not enough of the other, this can lead to complete disharmony within ourselves. And something we've learned in this energetic healing mini series is that any time that we have energetic disharmony in our physical body, it's going to lead to disease because our body always wants to be in balance in every way possible. So again, masculine and feminine energy in its healthy forms in balance within ourselves. And also, to take it one layer deeper, we also need to have this balance of feminine and masculine energy with our partnerships. Because, for example, if one person is all in their masculine and the other partner is also all in their masculine, you're going to bump heads. You're going to repel each other. You're not going to align because both of you are fighting in the masculine. Now, if one partner is in their masculine and the other is a little bit more in their feminine, it's going to be that yin and that yang and that balance. So working on that within yourself, and then also understanding what you need in a partner to balance you out and to fit and complement you is so important. Now, something to recognize is that where we are in society today, most of us default to the masculine energy, because it's all that we know. It's all that we've actually been programmed to know since childhood. We've always been told that logic over emotions, right? Use your head, make smart decisions based on logic. never on intuition, which is the feminine energy, right? And this started so long ago. So there's no one to blame. We can't blame our parents because it's our parents, way back to about 10,000 years ago, when the patriarchy structure was designed to give power to the men. Right? Way back when, it's always been that way in history, where men had the power, they were the king, they were the ruler, they were the leader, and being a woman was seen as powerless or weak or subservient. And this began an entire culture, an entire history of evolution where we repress our feminine energy because it's seen as weak. And we want to strive for being more masculine, to have more power, resources, or whatever we want out of life. So we all default to this masculine energy. So no matter if you are a male or a female or whatever body you are, knowing that all of us have some sort of feminine energy within inside of us, this heart-centered, wanting to receive, wanting to go with the flow. When we suppress that and we consider that weak, we don't really actually resort to healthy masculine. Instead, we are tapping into what's called toxic masculine. It's not a true form of masculinity. It's just a lack of femininity. Hope that makes sense. So we can't suppress half the energy of the entire universe, half the energy that we actually do have inside of us for this long, 10,000 years, without any consequences, right? We can see this in society now. There's this great rise of being heart-centered leaders and owning companies that give back and want to nurture and take care of, instead of power hungry, climbing over each other and having more money. That doesn't seem to matter to people anymore. We're more gravitated to companies that give back and have missions versus companies that just brag about how successful they are. And the same ends up holding true for relationships. There's this great call for men to show more vulnerability and emotions and express themselves and be less aggressive and demanding and forceful. So it's a really interesting concept. So let's maybe start right at the beginning of what is masculine and what is feminine energy, so we can all be on the same page. I think when I say the word masculine energy, a lot of us already have some preconceived notions in our head, what we think that means. So I want to break it down for you. So let's first start with healthy masculine energy. This is the ideal version of masculine energy, and it's tangible energy. It's like, I'll pick you up and I'll put you down somewhere safe. It's action oriented. It wants to do things. It wants to get things done. It's logical. It's confident, focused, strong and stable, being assertive and making decisions, very goal-driven, having a purpose, knowing exactly what it wants. It loves a challenge, but at the same time, masculine energy wants freedom. And essentially, it takes really big things and makes them small. So actionable, tangible steps to get things done. Now, masculine energy needs admiration and appreciation to keep the fuel in the fire, to keep going and to keep driving and to be strong for others. Masculine energy needs admiration and appreciation. It wants to be needed and it wants to definitely be respected. The thing that healthy masculine energy can't stand is being criticized, controlled, or shut out, because that indicates that they aren't doing a good job in the masculine role. So that can be very defeated for masculine energy. Now, on the flip side, let's look at wounded masculine energy. And I think often this is what most people equate with masculine energy. Wounded masculine has this abuse of power. There's this need to manipulate and control. It's filled with criticism. It's very confrontational and aggressive and wanting to demand things. Can be very unstable, unpredictable. So not a clear pattern, not a clear action. It's just all over the place. There can be a lot of avoidance, not wanting to do things, not wanting to have conversations, not wanting to embrace the feminine energy. It's just this very aggressive, unstable, out of control energy. And this is often what we see when there is disharmony in a relationship. If someone is in their feminine space and they want connection and they want to have conversation about emotions, they want to go with the flow, they want to receive, they want to be nurtured, and their partner is in a wounded masculine state, that is when they get irritable. They want to avoid their feminine partner. They can become aggressive and try to control their feminine partner by saying things like, you're too emotional. It can be very, very triggering. But the partner might actually be in her wounded feminine, not in her divine feminine. So let's take a moment and flip it over to feminine energy. What is healthy feminine energy? Well, that's an energy that's more ethereal. It's less tangible, less direct. It is like, I will pick you up and I will put you back down somewhere just as far as the masculine can take you. But you don't really know how you got there and you feel really safe anyways. It's this ethereal kind of receiving and going with the flow energy. So feminine energy is intuitive and it's generous, it's nurturing, it's very creative. A lot of our creative energy comes from when we tap into our feminine side. It's hard to create when you're in that go, go, go masculine energy of getting things done and accomplishing goals. You don't really have time to flow and create. The feminine energy is also very collaborative. It wants to connect with others. It wants that heart-centered, deep conversation. It's very caring. It wants to fill things up. It wants to nurture and make things more beautiful than when they found it. It's very receptive. This is a hard part for a lot of people to embrace when they're in their feminine energy, receiving things from others, allowing others to help them. And it also makes really small things big. So this is often when we see someone with great feminine energy make a house a home. They can take small little things and make it feel like this beautiful, safe space. The feminine also is good at remembering. It pays attention. It's attentive to things. Now, the feminine energy, in order to continue fueling the fire and continuing on, needs reassurance and attention. And it also wants trust and connection and praise, this like heart-centered space where people can get together and be there for one another. Feminine energy cannot stand feeling unseen, unsafe, or misunderstood. So this is where we see that beautiful feminine energy, like that grandmother energy that just feels so safe and nurturing. But if we're only in our feminine, we wouldn't get much done. That's where we need to tap into our masculine, that direct, goal-driven, making things happen, being strong and assertive and focused and confident and doing things in this tangible physical world. But again, we can't do that all the time either, because then we wouldn't have connection and we wouldn't be in the flow of life, and then we would get tapped out and drained. So again, no matter if you are in a male body or a female body or how you identify, you need to have a balance of both. And then let's talk real quick about the wounded feminine energy. So again, this is often what we see and associate with as negative when we think of feminine energy, but it's simply just wounded. So the wounded feminine is very insecure, lacks self-worth, doesn't see what they can accomplish, easily becomes codependent and attached to other people, looking for things to assure them that they're worthy. Wounded feminine is also very manipulative and needy, wanting to make sure that things happen in a certain way to, again, soothe that worthiness. Can be very emotional, very over apologetic, always saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, right? Not speaking their truth. Wounded feminine is very afraid to speak the truth and to be seen and recognized. A wounded feminine energy has very weak boundaries, allows others to kind of power over, and can feel overall unworthy and just conforms to whatever is around them. So why do we have this wounded feminine or this wounded masculine? Where does this even come from, right? Because I think ideally all of us would want to be masculine in a way when it comes to work and business and certain decisions in our lives, and make, confident, strong, goal-driven, assertive decisions. And then other times we would love to be with the flow of life and be really creative and receive and let someone pamper us and connect with others. But why doesn't this play out this way? Not within ourselves, and definitely not in relationships. So let's take it back a little bit. Let's look at society. Like I said, 10,000 years ago, patriarchy was formed, men were in power, women were just servants. And because of that, there was this stigma that was formed in society that women are just weaker. And women isn't just women, it's feminine energy. This archetype of being a feminine person and leading with our emotions and our intuition is seen as weak. And so, boys and girls at very young ages are told that they need to use their logic, they need to use their mind, they need to be focused and confident and goal driven and assertive and climb to the top of the mountain. And that's how you're going to get everything you want in life, is by diving into your masculine energy. And so many people from a young age have had this mistrust of feminine energy. They don't want to be feminine because that's considered weak. If I show my emotions, or I want to connect with people, or I want to be a nurturer, right? Or I want to just receive someone's love, that's seen as weak. How are you going to accomplish your goals if you're just sitting around crying all day, right? These are belief systems that we've been ingrained with our entire life. No one believes that we can build a massive business by just purely being heart-centered and going with the flow and leading with our intuition and tapping into our creativity. No, there's no way you're going to have a successful business, right? Until now, until there's this turnaround, this point in society where people are waking up into this realization that this masculine energy also isn't healthy. It can become toxic so fast. So one side of us feels like, I don't want to be feminine. Feminine is related to a negative connotation. It doesn't sound like it's going to get me far in life, so I don't want to be that. So then you go on the spectrum way and swing way over to this masculine side. But you don't know how to be this divine, healthy masculine either. There's no healthy role models for that. So you tap into this needing to be aggressive and assertive and demanding and, criticism and picking things apart. And it turns into this wounded masculine. Often women, unfortunately, in society have seen men, whether it's leaders, parents, siblings, other men in society, tap into this wounded masculine, this abuse of power, and being confrontational and always picking things apart. And so then females, or even men who have more feminine energy, have this massive distrust of masculine energy. They don't want to be the masculine. So instead, they can become very lazy and, this low self-worth and needy and wanting someone to rescue them and save them. So where we see the victim mentality come in, right? That's not feminine energy. That becomes very wounded feminine, someone who wants to be rescued because they don't want to take action and be assertive, because that can be seen as masculine and that could be bad. So everyone's in this limbo state of, well, I don't want to be feminine because that's weak, but I don't want to be masculine because that sounds like someone's an asshole or a narcissist. So no one really knows what they are or who they are or what they should be or what they want in relationships. And so let's talk about that. We need to have balance. We need to have both. We have both within us, but we all tend to lean towards one or another. It's just been skewed over a lifetime of ingrained training and behavior and thought patterns from other people and seeing examples in society. So it's time for you to tap back in to what feels most aligned for you. When I describe this feminine energy of connecting with others and being creative and receptive and filling things up and being intuitive, just go with the flow of life, does that feel like you? Or does this person who wants to be strong and assertive and goal-driven and make decisions, does that sound more like you on a regular basis? Now, remember, the feminine, if you tap into your feminine and you have no masculine energy, this is where we see someone being lazy, unfocused, depressed, stagnant, unmotivated, because they need that masculine go-getter energy. And on the flip side, if you're all masculine with no feminine energy, this is where we see someone become aggressive, narrow-minded, cold, frustrated, closed off, not heart-centered at all. So we need this balance, and we need it to be healthy balance. So how are we going to do that? So first of all, we're going to look at this masculine energy. Someone who reacts very defensively, right? How can we turn that from this toxic trait of reacting defensively into a healthy divine masculine? Well, instead of reacting defensively, you can act with purpose. So instead of waiting for someone to come at you or address the problem or your significant other to come to you and have a complaint, you lead and act with purpose and say, I want to address this. I want to fix this. I know this is a problem and I know it's not going away. How can we address it? acting with purpose, leading the relationship, leading the partnership, creating the solutions, right? Because often toxic masculine will lead with force and ego. We got to do this, and this is the right way. But instead, tapping into that leading with wisdom and purpose. Now, toxic masculine often seeks attention. This is where we can see people wanting to be on stage and look at me, I'm so great, that narcissistic kind of behavior. But healthy masculine won't do that. They will find attention by helping others, being attentive, giving attention instead of to themselves, the attention to other people. This is where that divine masculine, that I'll pick you up and put you down somewhere safe, comes in. Giving to others and helping others and recognizing when help is needed. Now, toxic masculine can be seen with someone who needs to prove their worth. They're always bragging and showing off, and again, looking at me. But moving into that healthy masculine, it's being grounded in their self-assurance, being confident, knowing I have what it takes to accomplish something. I don't need to tell people, I can just do it. Or being so self-assured that they know their right direction. They know the way to go because they have a little bit of feminine energy, that intuition guiding them. And lastly, toxic masculine typically is threatened by female energy. When a woman is very giving and nurturing and wants to receive and is in the flow of life and guides with her intuition, toxic masculine finds that threatening, finds that unsexy or fearful or mistrustful. But a healthy, divine masculine will see that feminine energy and protect it. Protect it within himself because he knows his intuition is also important, protects his creative flow, protects the part of him that wants to also be nurtured, and most importantly, protects the female energy around him. The women around him, his partner, protects it and leads it and guides it. So the top 5 things you can do to balance your masculine energy is, number 1, take action where action is due. If you need to make a decision in your life, you need to make a change, take action. The number 2 thing you can do to get healthy masculine energy is conquer your fears. Masculine energy does not lead with fear. It knows what it can accomplish, it knows what it's capable of, and it conquers them to move forward in life. Number 3, say no and be assertive. This is very important for healthy masculine energy. Saying no when you can't do something. And being assertive in things, saying, that's just not going to work for me. I'm sorry, but not going to work for me. Number 4, take responsibility. This is so important. Healthy masculine energy takes responsibility and says, I messed up, or I'll do better, or I acknowledge. It acknowledges people. And number 5, healthy masculine energy will give. It's of service, right? It's not just me energy. Every goal, every decision, every guidance moving forward is to give back to others and to help and to protect and to nurture just as much as the feminine energy. So let's move into the feminine energy. How do we get healthy feminine energy? Oftentimes we see this feminine wounded energy that is someone who overly cries, is overly emotional, very clingy, very needy, always needing someone to support them, can't be alone, doesn't trust their decisions and their intuition, doesn't even take time, is not creative, and isn't connected with that inner fire, that warrior feminine energy. So something you can do for your feminine energy is to work on setting healthy boundaries. This is very important, having boundaries where you know what works for you and what doesn't. Another good trait for feminine energy to work on is to honor your truth and know the wisdom that you carry. So whatever you believe, whatever you feel, whatever you resonate with, you honor that and you shine bright in that truth. You live unapologetically. You know who you are, and that's all that matters. Another trait to cultivate to get to healthy feminine energy is to speak gently to yourself and to others. Oftentimes we tap into that masculine energy where we are not connected to our heart, and that's toxic masculine, just demanding and saying this is how it is. But healthy feminine will speak gently to others, even when they are sharing, not necessarily criticisms, but sharing opportunities in a gentle, kind way. And a couple other things you can do to tap into your feminine energy, which is something I think so many of us are working on. Like I said, males, females, doesn't matter what body part you identify with. This healthy feminine energy is on the rise. It's needed in businesses to be more creative. It's needed to create deeper connections with others and to lead with intuitions and just to tap back in to that safe, sacred space within us that we've mistrusted for a long time because it was considered weak. And once we get back into that flow of that feminine energy, and it feels so much better to go with the flow of life and to receive and to be nurtured and to be taken care of, even if you are a man. I know that this is something that you crave. So how can we start that? How can we even begin that journey, right? So number one, dance. Dance, dance, dance. That flow of the body is so beautiful of the feminine. The feminine goes with the flow of life. It just dances with life itself. So moving your body in this rhythm, taking some dance classes, putting on some music, dancing in your living room is going to be so vital for males or females to tap into that feminine energy. Another thing that you can do is practice self-love and self-care. So important. A divine feminine will prioritize herself first and foremost because she is no good if she is not healthy and strong. So taking time to nurture yourself, tell yourself how much you love yourself, honoring yourself through every stage and journey of your life, and having a self-care ritual. Taking time for you to nurture yourself and say, I am worth it. So that you don't need other people to do that. Remember, unhealthy feminine needs other people to validate them and to tell them how amazing they are. But it's up to you to do it. You can tap into your inner feminine and start right now with a self-care practice. And lastly, connect with other women. This is so important. There's a big mistrust and misfear from female to female, feminine energy to feminine energy, masculine to feminine. So connecting with other women and having conversations and nurturing and supporting each other, creating a circle of women in your neighborhood or your friendship circle where you get together and you just embrace each other for who you are. It's a great way to tap into this feminine energy. All right, guys, I know that this is a lot. It is confusing. I hope you understand the concepts. It's just so important in relationships. Again, like I said, if you are noticing a disconnect in your relationship where one partner is tapping way too far into their feminine or into their masculine, and you're on the opposite side of the spectrum, coming back to the middle, or if you're both on the same side of the spectrum, you're both extremely feminine, nothing's ever getting done around your house, or you're both extremely masculine and no one's actually having a real conversation about how they feel. So figure out where you are on the spectrum. Are you 80-20? Are you 50-50? What feels natural for you? Where would you ideally like to be? How can you get there? There are so many resources out there. I will put some resources in the show notes. Check back to our Instagram page where I will list some of my favorite podcasts that dive purely into masculine and feminine energy, different coaches and people that really work on this. Like I said, something I've been working on for 2 years. I really need to get back into my feminine. So I have been working on trying to embrace this part of myself that I suppressed for so long. I thought if I was emotional or needy or wanted to connect with people, I was weak. It's a story I've told myself my whole life. I've always said, I just get along better with guys, right? Because I like to be demanding and controlling and take action and grow my business and all these things that were toxic masculine. So I've had to work and adjust, and it's a never-ending process. I know a lot of people see me and they go, you dress so pretty and you wear extensions and pretty dresses. How are you not feminine? This is energy. This has nothing to do with the way that we physically look on the outside. This is how we feel about life, how we perceive life, how we participate in life. What is your energy that you are bringing to life and therefore to your relationships? So ask yourself where you want to be, where you currently are, and make sure you follow holistic.soul.sisters on Instagram, where we are going to talk more about this. I will give you guys a lot of the resources that I've been using for the last 2 years. And I've got to say, I'm actually pretty proud of myself. I have really mellowed. I know how to ask when I need help now. I'm okay with just laying around and receiving, a back rub or for someone to go make me food. That was really challenging for me for a long time. I would just do it all myself. But that's not healthy either. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. It was a short one, but I just wanted to bring you the concepts so you can start marinating on it, asking the questions, doing some more research on it. And stay tuned for next week's episode, which is going to be all about law of attraction. How you can take what you want and manifest it into your reality. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the Holistic Soul Sister community. I hope you're enjoying these podcasts. Please give me your feedback, positive, negative, insights, or suggestions. I am here for all of them. I love hearing from you guys in the middle of my day. So always reach out in the DMs or my messenger, or if you have my text info, shoot me a message, say hi. I love hearing from you guys in the middle of my busy days. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Leave me a review if you get a chance. It would mean the world to me. And I will catch you guys in the next episode. Until then, make sure you keep healing holistically and growing spiritually.